Today I will be showing you how to make this cow, and you can use whatever color you want. I'm making her today black and white, similar to this one here, and you'll need about 210 rubber bands, and also you'll need 2 eye color. Here I use blue and then 4 pink rubber bands. So let's get started. First, let's make the eyes, and you are going to need some holding instrument to hold your parts. So the eyes, I'm going to do my normal eyes. I'm going to take a single rubber band and loop it 3 times around my hook, creating 4 loops. Take a single white, double it, and then pulling the eye right onto the white rubber band. Do my other eye, take a single blue, loop it 3 times, creating 4 loops. Taking a single white, double it, and pulling the eye right onto the white rubber band. I'm going to use white and pulling the eye right onto that single white rubber band. I'm going to put it on my holding hook for later. If you want to do your cow in any color, you can. I'm choosing to do black and white today. Let's go ahead and make the ears. And I'm going to vary it up here. I'm going to try to mimic this one cow that I have here. So at the top of our loom, with 1 single rubber band, create that triangle. Taking a single rubber band, double it, and put it on either side. Same thing, take a single, double, on the other side. Single, double, stretch it out, and creating the upside down triangle. And your cow should be able to stand up if you use firm enough rubber bands. So take a single white, this is the inside of the ear, I'm going to put it from there to there, and go ahead and loop up, creating the diamond for the ear. And let's go ahead and loop up the center of the ear. Now for the tip of the ear, I'm going to loop that off 4 times, or loop it 3 to create 4 loops. There. Go ahead and go under that cap band, grabbing one of the rubber band that's on there, the bottom rubber band, get a single, pull it out, and very carefully looping it onto itself. Same thing, go back in the cap band under it, grab the last rubber band that's under there, and very carefully looping it onto itself. And let's go ahead and do the sides, and then finally looping it to the center peg. Repeat on the other side. Let's go ahead and take our ear carefully. And put it on our holding hook for later. And let's make the other ear. Same thing. Take our single rubber band, this time I'm using white. Take a single, double on either side. I'm going to mimic this one, so I'm going to use black on the one side and white on the other. And now I'm going to do a black towards the tip of the ear, stretch it out, double it, creating the upside down triangle, taking my single white from the second to the first, pulling up the upside down triangle to create your diamond, looping it up, capping the tip of my ear off here with a single black, looping it 3 times to create 4 loops. Once again, go under there, grabbing, using your finger if you have to, separating our rubber band very carefully, looping it onto itself, or the left or the right, and the other side. Same thing. Go to the side, and if there's any tension, don't force it, just release your rubber band. And lastly, loop it up to the tip of your ear. Taking it off your loom to put it onto your holding hook for later. That's our second ear. Now let's go ahead and make the legs. And this cow I made a little long just to see how it looks. I'm going to make it one rung shorter. If you want it this long, you can. And if you want to make like shorter like I am, you can. So like our horse and everything, we're going to use 3 single rubber bands from the 7th peg from the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 7th, 3 single rubber bands. If you're doing another rung longer, start at the 8th. So 3 single rubber band. So that's 3 black. And coming down 2 now. The 3rd one, white. And now, so this is 3, 3, 3. And now let's make our back thigh here fatter. Take 3 single rubber bands and put it to the side. Take 2 single rubber bands, stretch it out, double it, put it, attaching it. Do the next one. I'm going to switch it to black, take 2 single rubber bands, double it. And you can do whatever color you want. It's 2 single rubber bands, double it. That finishes our leg. Let's cap it off doing the hooves, taking a single rubber band and looping it twice to create 3 loops. And let's do it again. Take a single rubber band, loop it twice to create 3 loops. And now let's go ahead and loop up. Go under those cap bands, grabbing the bottom rubber bands. Make sure you see the teardrop forming and looping it onto itself. And don't force your rubber bands. Just let it form the teardrop, easing it up. And now the second one from the very top, we're going to connect our thigh and then looping it up. So that's one of our back thigh. Let's go ahead and put it on our holding hook for later. And we're going to create another one. Same thing. You can create it however you want, use any color. Just play with your color. Again, you can use brown and white or solid brown or solid black, whatever you want to do. So that's one of my leg. So I'm going to do the other one. Same thing. I'm going to take 3 single rubber bands from the 7th peg from the bottom. I'm going to vary it up like my cow here. Three single rubber bands. We're coming down 3 times on the side. And now you can choose whatever color you want. I'm just randomly choosing. So no white, now white. Taking 2 single, doubling it, and making the bottom part of the leg here. And we're going to do this 3 times. Two single rubber bands, doubling it, 3. And here I had a black and white hoof, so I'm taking a single, looping it twice to create 3 loops. And I'll take a black, looping it twice to create 3 loops. And then let's go ahead and loop up, grabbing the bottom bands under those cap bands, creating the nice teardrop, and start looping up. And once again, before we come up to our last one, the second one, we want to attach our thigh and go ahead and loop up. And now we're going to put it on a holding hook for later. There's our second back hind legs. And now let's go ahead and do the front legs. And do it however you want. So again, we're starting from the 7th peg from the bottom. And 3 single rubber bands. We're doing that 3 times. 2, 3. I'm varying up my color here. And then the last 3 will be take 2 singles, double it, and putting it down. And just have fun with your color. I'm just playing around. The last 2 singles, double. And now the hooves, again you can vary it up, do whatever color you want. I'm going to do black. Go ahead and go under the cap band. You can even do the legs together, the 2 front legs. It's up to you. Just doing one at a time here. Make sure you have teardrops. And once you're done go ahead and create your other one and putting on your holding hook to add later. Don't put it on the same side as your thigh, your back thigh, because we'll have to add it the back thigh first. Make the other thigh 3 single rubber bands. Any pattern you want. So that's 3 down, and now taking 2 single rubber bands, doubling it, and coming down 3 times. Cap off a hoof. Change up the hoof color this time. Go under the cap band, grabbing the bottom bands. Just loop all the way up. You can even put it to the side. I don't think it'll come off, but just carefully, since I'm running out of room here on my hook. Now let's make the udder of the cow. Let's go ahead and we need, I'm using pink here, 4 pinks. Take your pink, and we're going to create a knot. And my daughter showed me how to do this, and I was really struggling with it. But here's the easy way to make a knot per my daughter's instruction. You take your single rubber band at the end of your loom, if you want, go ahead and cross it on the loom, and then cross it back, and then loop it right onto your loom like that. So that's only with 1 single rubber band. You take it, and we have to do this 4 times, so I'm going to show you again. Take your single rubber band, put it on the end of your peg there, cross it over, cross it back, and then loop it right up. And now what we are going to do, we're going to go ahead and pull the bottom and loop it up. And the other side, pull the bottom and loop it up. And you take it off, and there's your knot. Easy as that. Let's go ahead and create 3 others, same thing. Pull the bottom over, pull the bottom, over, and you have your knot. Saves your finger. So let's create 2 more knots, same thing. We're going to take your single, cross it, twist it over again like an 8, and then loop it back on the peg. Take your single, cross it onto your peg, cross it back, and put it on your peg. So that's single, and now loop up from, pull the under one, the bottom bands, and looping it right over your peg and onto there, creating your knot. Same thing on the other side, and if you're confused, just rewind and watch it over. And pull the bottom band, and then pulling it onto the center. And there's your knot. So you should have 4 knots. And put these knots onto 3 single rubber bands. So taking your knot, one of them, put your hook through the loops and get your single, and then pulling one of the knot over, and let's do that same thing. Take your knot, put your hook through the loops, and pull it right onto that single. Now the last single, we want 2 knots on there. So take your knots, your last 2 knots, put your hook through the loops, and pull the knots right onto those 2. You might want to put on your hook, it's going to slide off. And now let's create the udder. So let's go ahead and take your single rubber band. We're only using single for this. So we're going to put from here to there. So the second to the first on the right, and then the second to the second from the left. So creating that diagonal line, go ahead and put a single there from the left, on the right, first to the second, and then a single from on the left, the second to the third. Add one of our rubber band with the pink knot on it in the center from the second to the third. Do the next row, single rubber band from the second to the third. In the middle, let's go ahead and do our second knot from the center third to the fourth. Take a single white from the fourth, third to the fourth. And you can use black in here if you want any one, but I'm just choosing to do that. Now let's close it off. It's be pretty small. So we're creating diagonals, 2 single from here to here and then there to there. And now this will be our holding rubber band, the one with the 2 knots. Very carefully taking it off your hook. And we're stretching it, don't let it cross. Stretching it, putting it in the center peg, so creating the line here and splitting our 2 pink knots on either side, and there. It should go across like that to hold our udder together. And now let's go ahead and we're going to cap this one, and this one, these 3 corners. The right third, the left fourth, and the left second. Let's go ahead and loop it once to create 2 loops on each of those, and these will be our connector bands to the bottom of our cow. So that's a single rubber band, looping it once to create 2 loops. So now let's start looping. Go under this left 4th peg under the cap band, grab the top single and looping it onto itself, creating teardrops. Go in the next one, grabbing the top single, looping it onto itself. Let's go to this left side here, grabbing the bottom single, looping it onto itself. Just keep going like that. Stop there. Let's now do the center. Go under, grabbing the bottom band, looping it onto itself. Don't grab that holding rubber band. And now let's do from the left corner here up to the center, and then reach all the way under, grabbing, and this will attach to the bottom of our cow. Let's go ahead and do the right corner now. Go all the way under, grabbing the bottom single, looping it onto itself. And there you go. And remember, these ones will be holding rubber bands. We'll attach it later. Now let's put our udder there onto a hook to attach to our cow. Take it off of our loom. And there's our udder. And now we're going to go ahead and make our cow so we can attach everything. We are going to start, you can use whatever color you want. I'm going to start with black, 2 single blacks from the center to the side diagonally, and you can use whatever color you want. I'm just trying to mimic my cow here. It might not be 100%, but you can use whatever color you want. Take 2 single black. I'm coming down the right hand side 2 times with black, and then I'm coming down the center peg with black, and the rest I'm going to do white. 2 single rubber bands down twice on the side of the face, and then coming to the chin peg. And on the chin peg, you want to push it all the way down to not let it overlap. And let's go ahead and finish the center of the face. I'm going to use white. That closes up our face. Now if you want to add a neck to your cow, you can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to make it like this guy here. So let's go ahead, or this girl here. Continue from the chin peg diagonally, 2 single rubber bands, and we are going to come down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Other side, same thing. From the chin peg diagonally, and then coming down 4. And you can use whatever color you want. I'm just doing my variation here. And then after the 4th one, you want to bring it in to the center to close up her bottom, the cow's bottom. And now let's go ahead and do the center of the body. Same thing. 2 single rubber bands all the way down. I'm using 2 blacks in there, but you can use whatever color you want. Now that's what your cow's face and body should look like, and you can have whatever color you want. Put some holding rubber bands. I'm going to use 2 single rubber bands on the torso here, and I'm going to use black in the mid belly. Push it down because we're going to need room. And then I'll use black. You can use whatever color you want. 2 single rubber bands, the last 2 holding ones on the body there, and push it down. We're going to need room for our legs, our thigh, and our udder. And now let's go ahead and cap the bottom off here, and I'll use a black rubber band. Take a single black. I am going to loop it 4 times. If you want to make 3 loops, you can. I'm doing 4 loops. And now let's go ahead and loop up the center of the belly to make room for our udder. So go under the cap band, grab the top 2. Mine will be white, and looping it onto itself. I'm doing it 3 times. That should clear room for the udder. And now let's go ahead and add the udder. Where is it? Right here. And we want to line it up with our cow. So I'm going to turn it so it's easier for me to work with. So there should be 4 rubber bands on your hook there. And go ahead, and we are attaching it from the second peg from the bottom. So make sure you get all the rubber bands onto that peg. And now find our attaching rubber bands, connector rubber bands. Should be 2 of them on the 4 corners. And we're attaching it on the first peg, 2 single rubber bands, the connector bands on the first peg on both sides, and then the second peg on both sides. So there, our cow is on our cow. And now let's go ahead and attach the hind legs. And I have the black here. I'm going to attach it. There should be 6 rubber bands on either peg. Pull it and attach it to our first and second peg, either on the right or on the left, over where we put the udder. And now let's do the other calf. And mine came off and it didn't come apart, so I'm going to do one side here. Make sure there's 6 rubber bands on each calf, or thigh, on each thigh. Let's go ahead and attach it onto that first and second peg, and don't twist the center of our connecting rubber band there for our thigh, and adjust it. And our ears will go on the second peg from the top. Same thing on the other side. Make sure you put all the rubber band in the correct order onto your peg there where your hook is. It should slip right on. And now put on our eyes on the same 2 peg. And if you have your eye exposed first, because my ears were in the way, you can put your eye on first, but my ears were in the way, so I put my eyes on second. But if you had your eyes first, go ahead and put your eye on first, and then your ear. Now let's go ahead and put our holding rubber band and try to put it underneath the ear. Stick it right underneath there so it doesn't slip off. So there's one holding rubber band right there. And now let's go ahead and loop up our cow. We're going under that last peg there, under the cap band, grabbing the top 2, and mine's going to the right and looping it onto itself. There's lots of rubber bands there, so be careful. Let's go ahead and finish up that side. I'm going to go under all those rubber bands, grabbing the bottom 2, and very carefully looping it onto itself, and going to loop up to the shoulder peg there. Go all the way under, grab the bottom 2, stopping at the shoulder peg. And we're going to do on the other side, same thing, go under the cap band, the very bottom, grabbing the bottom two, looping it onto itself to the thigh, go all the way under, grabbing the bottom two, and those should be catching all your thigh rubber band and everything else. Next two, if you can't see it, pull it out. Make sure you reach all the way in so your rubber band, your teardrop will catch all of those thigh and everything. Looping it onto itself, pulling back the holding rubber bands, and stop at the shoulder. Now let's go ahead and add the front legs. Put your hook through those loops. There should be 6 rubber bands, and the legs are pretty straight, so my cow should be able to stand up. Go ahead and grab the shoulder rubber band, slide the legs through, and looping it onto the chin peg. Like that. Same thing on the other side. Grab, put your hook through the loops. Should be 6 rubber bands. Grabbing the shoulder rubber band and looping it right onto the chin peg. And now let's go ahead and finish looping up the center of the body, creating teardrops, and make sure you check before you go on that you have teardrops all around your body, and release any tensions if there's any. Go ahead and do the chin peg. Reach all the way in there, move everything back, grabbing the top 2 rubber bands, and should be the ones going up to the center of the face. And once you grab it, you see teardrops, looping it onto itself. Let's grab the next top 2. Mine's coming to the left. And the last 2. Okay, now let's add the mouth and the nose area. Let's go ahead and release the shoulder rubber bands and a little bit of the upper body here. Don't release the face area. Push all those rubber bands down to expose, because we're adding a second layer. Should be like that. Push the arms down. And now let's go ahead and add the nose and the mouth area. Taking 2 single rubber bands from the 3rd peg to the 4th peg, and then I'm taking 3 single rubber bands from the 4th to the 5th peg for the nose. Let's go ahead and take 2 single rubber bands from the 3rd peg to the 4th peg on the right, and I'm taking 2 black on the 4th peg to the 3rd peg to the 4th peg on the left. And now taking a single rubber band, double it from the 4th peg to the center 5th peg. Repeat on the other side, single, double. Now I'm taking a single, double, holding rubber band from the 4th peg to the 4th peg across there. And now I'm taking a single rubber band, top of the face there for the noses to connect. Single rubber band, don't double it. Creating the cap band here, single, and loop it 3 times, or looping it twice to create 3 loops. 2, 3. Okay, now we're ready to hook. So go under those cap band where it's the 5th peg in the center, grabbing the top 2. If you can't see it, kind of pull it. Use your hand to help, looping it onto itself. Go back in, grabbing the next 2. Should be the black ones going to the side. Reach back in, grabbing the 3 whites to the center of the nose, looping it onto itself. Let's go to the side, grabbing the two bottom, looping it onto itself. Same thing on the other side. And now the center of the nose. It's grabbing the two bands that we just added and looping it onto itself. There. And now let's go ahead and continue up the side of the face. Go all the way in that third side peg, grabbing the bottom two rubber bands, looping it onto where the ears are. Go under the ears, grabbing the bottom two, look to make sure, looping it onto itself. And then let's go ahead and go up to the tip of the head there. Same thing on the other side. Grabbing the bottom two. You want to make sure you have teardrops all around. And let's finish up to the tip of the head. And now let's go ahead and reach under the eye peg, the third peg, and looping it onto itself. And everything should have teardrops. This is your last looping band. And if you want, you can release the face. And now let's go ahead and put our slip knot rubber band. Go on this top peg there where the arrow is, pull your rubber band through and slipping it in to create your knot at the tip of our head, the top of our head here. And let's go ahead and take it off the loom. And there's our cow. You can push the eyes out and don't push it too much. Fix the face, pull it out, and kind of pinch it. If you want to tuck in the charm string, you can. And your cow isn't going to come out perfect. You're going to need to make some adjustments. And pull the legs down. She should be able to stand for you. And the front legs. Kind of pull it and go under the chin there. Pull your back of your hook and pull so that way she looks up for you. And there's your cow. She should be able to stand right up. Pull the legs together. And now let's go ahead and make her tail. You can make as long as you want in whatever color you want. I'm just going to use white. I'm going to take a single, double, and I'm going to do it 4 times. You can do it less, you can do it longer. Single, double, single, double, single, double. And now to cap it off, I'm just going to loop it once, make it a little fluffy. Cap it once, taking 2 single rubber bands, capping it once, and then I'm going to loop it up. And onto itself, creating teardrops. And I'll go ahead and take a single white, since my back there is kind of white, but you can use black. And we are holding our rubber bands. There's our tail. Now let's go ahead and go in the very bottom of our band there, not the top, but the bottom there so her tail doesn't stick up. Go ahead and put your hook through the loops there. Grab or put a hook through the tail loops and create a little bit of tension, pull it through, and then open up the loop where we pulled, and then push our tail through. and don't pull it too far. There's our tail. So there's your cow. I hope you like her. Thanks for watching.